Hey, welcome to Rugby 100 Club. I'm Matt Courtwright. I am introducing Jacob Gonzales, a referee of MLR currently and many other levels of rugby. Thank you, Jacob, for making the time.
No, I'm excited to be here. This is actually, I think it's my first interview. So I'm pretty pumped. I swear.
Okay, no, I love it. Okay, good. Um, so my thought is we talked a little bit previously, so I'm going to regurgitate a little bit, but the reality is I as a rugby fan of my own, I really respect referees. I think that the game is it can't exist without you, as well as you're a student of the game constantly because you have to be. And it gives you. We need to introduce you because you're a lot of fun, Jacob. Obviously, the way we met and everything, I know this, but it's like you give you a platform to show like I'm not a robot, guys. Like I'm a human being. I'm really into rugby too. Hence, I'm a referee. I'm a diehard. Some sort of like respectful level. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think one, I mean, you just touched on the respect for referees, and I almost think that sometimes people respect us to a point where they don't realize that we're human beings. And, we like to laugh, we like to have fun. I mean, I met you at a bar, and then we went to another bar, and we went on your party bus. We're totally normal guys. So I think you're kind of right, though. Getting to know us, it's not like we can't communicate once we get off the outside the lines. We're normal guys just like everyone else. We want to go get a beer. We want to get to know each other. We want to have fun. So I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
No, I'm glad you made time. Yeah, fun fact, everybody. Jacob made the mistake of coming to Seattle a couple times, and after meeting you with Marquise, I was like, all right, because Marquise and I are pretty tight these days. And it was one of these where it's like, hey, you guys make time when we're all done with this, the show upstairs with the social and such. Let's cut out and let's go to a pub down the street. I got a party bus. And you guys all looked at me like, you got a what?
And then we brought some people with us.
Yeah, as well as the friends we had on there. We had a good time. I don't have any pictures to expose anybody. It's just word of mouth. We had a great time. Nothing was out of control. Everybody was just, being social and being lovers. You know what I mean? It was great. It was so healthy.
No, and that was when I mentioned to you earlier how I now live in Seattle. I think that was in my transition when I was coming up to Seattle. So it was cool to kind of do something outside of work, and I was doing my MBA at the time. So I had I had very limited social time. So it was super awesome that you were so welcoming and just said, hey, like come out, have a beer with us. Because it was just my time in that part of my life just a couple of months ago was so limited on the amount of fun that I was able to have. So it was awesome. It was awesome.
I'm glad we got to cram it in because I know you guys went back to the hotel where everybody was staying and got some more social time. And we won't tell anybody where that location is for future references. But I knew you were hanging with the dudes, if you will, and that was awesome. Marquise is a fun guy to hang out with, in my personal opinion. Everybody's got their opinions of others, but he's a good dude. I mean, he means well. He does what he says. He says what he does. Just you can't ask for a better situation from anybody.
Well, he's the reason why I'm here. In many parts of my life, actually, he's been an awesome friend, a better mentor. But when I want to say 7 years ago now, he found out that I was certified to ref, and he didn't ask me if I wanted to. He just called me and said, "Hey, I need you to ref this game," and I was just like, "What?" And I was still in college, and I was like, "Hey, like, I'm headed up to Santa Barbara right now. Like, what do you mean you need me to ref?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know you're headed to Santa Barbara. I need you to ref the B-side game before I get there." So Marquise gave me zero options. He's like, "You're doing this," and he kind of forced me under his wing. But it was kind of one of the best things that's happened to me. He's helped me out a lot in many parts of my life, and especially in rugby and my refereeing career. He's taken some good care of me.
That is awesome. That
Dude, it
is
was so
awesome.
funny. I'd met him. Let's see what happened. He played for my club team for one season, and they were playing down in San Diego, and I was at school at San Diego State, so I wanted to go see my buddies, and I just happened to kind of, hey, what's up? My name's Jacob. Like nothing. We didn't really hang out, and then when I think it was the following season or maybe later that season, he was reffing us against Arizona, and I had broken my ribs the week before against who's it against? It was against BYU. It was against BYU, and so I broke my ribs, and I wasn't playing, and Marquise was the ref, and I just started asking him questions, and then once he found out that I was certified, man, he's like, "You're under my control now." Like, I'm like, okay. Very impressionable when I was still in college.
Oh yeah, and it's this nature too. Like he just leads. I mean, so swiftly.
Yes, he does. Yes,
Dude,
he
funny.
does.
Oh
Yeah, and like I said,
man.
it's been an awesome journey since then. I mean, I talk to him 2-3 times a week. I probably talk to him more than anyone besides my girlfriend.
Oh, that's really cool. Like I didn't realize. I had no idea you guys were so tight, and that is really
Oh
cool.
yeah. Now, like I said, he again in so many parts of my life, he's given me fantastic advice. He's not afraid to call me stupid when I'm being stupid. And
He's that charmer, isn't he?
yeah, like he'll laugh at me when I'm doing something I probably shouldn't be doing. But then he also guides me, tries to guide me onto the right path, and helps me out where he can. So I'm super appreciative of having him in my life.
That's a true mentor right there, showing both
Mm-hmm.
balance. Oh man. Yeah, okay, so like fun is that I looked through the schedule for the MLR refs. That's why I'm looking down. I got my paperwork here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And in the last 3 years, you've had 12 showings as an AR, and
Mm-hmm.
3 of them have been under Marquise. 3 of them this last season have been under Marquise, no less.
Yeah, I don't know if that was by design because I don't think we had worked together, but we think we AR'd a couple games together, and then this was my first year working with him in the center, and I think that they were all anthem games. I think they were all anthem. There was one in
Oh,
Charlotte, there was
interesting. I
one
didn't write
here,
that down. Okay.
and then one in New Orleans. Yeah, they're all anthem games.
Yeah, yeah.
So they got really used to seeing us this season, which was cool. That was cool. They're a bunch of good guys. But it was awesome getting. I think we hadn't since we hadn't worked together. We didn't really know, I guess, off the bat, and it was so funny because I remember there was one call. I know how Marquise operates off the field, and he likes to kind of take ownership of whatever it is that he's doing. And I remember I didn't make a call, and I should have. And Marquise kind of looks at me like, this is after the game because we came into the locker room. Sorry, I think it was halftime, and I told him, and he's like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "Why didn't you say something?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't have a good answer because I was 100% my job." It was 100%. So then, in the following game, I come in, and I remember, and you can probably see this on one of the films, where I come in and he mouths to me, and he's like, "Do you have a number for this?" And I did, but he was verifying that I had all the information for him. But oh man, it was so funny the differences in when you're working together and when he trusts you to make a call. So it was cool. Like I said, going from I think that he wants this and finding out actually I know that he wants this. So it was a bit of a learning curve working with each other, and it was awesome. It was so much fun. And then we went out in each city. We were out in New Orleans. That was my first time in New Orleans. Checked out.
Oh, that was
French
week 1.
Quarter.
Yeah.
That was week one. That was week one. It was Mardi Gras down there. I'd never been to Mardi Gras, so it was a cool experience. We went in the daytime down to the French Quarter, and it's a completely different world than the nighttime, which is
isn't
I
it?
found out. Yeah, you got all the artists lined up on the sides of the street, and then you go at nighttime, and you gotta have your head on a swivel because you don't know what you're gonna see or what's gonna happen. But it's
What
cool.
people are not wearing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I said head on a swivel. All right, head on a swivel. And then we were in Charlotte, which I hadn't been to Charlotte in a few years, so we got to meet a lot of the Anthem guys. And then I think that was the same weekend as the college All Star game. So I had ref the college All Star game before the Anthem game. So it was cool. We see those college players kind of grow up over the years, and then get to see them all kind of in their last collegiate opportunity. And then went out, checked out Charlotte, which was cool, and then we had our experience with you up here in Seattle, which was amazing. So overall, good season. Good, we learned a lot, and we had a lot of fun doing it. So
That's wicked, and you're in trouble now that I know you're close.
I know. Oh, it's funny because when my last couple of weeks of work were super crazy.
Yeah.
I was talking with so I work for Ford Motor Company, and I was talking with this guy. He runs the Portland Auto Show because we have a lot of stores that we work with in Portland, and he was asking us if we wanted to do certain things, and he's like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Well, we really have like 2 weeks of the month where we're just like working bell to bell, and you just are catching me in my 2 weeks that we're doing this." So I know we had talked earlier, and then I got back to you kind of late, but yeah, these past couple of weeks of work had been pretty intense, but it's awesome. I love my job. Ford's we have regional offices everywhere, and I was in Phoenix, and we have one in Seattle. So I had gotten promoted in November. It took me a while to kind of get situated. I finally got my house up here at the end of April, which was kind of a headache. It took longer than I wanted to. But now I'm settled. The weather isn't as bad. It was pretty bad the past couple of days, but it hasn't been as bad prior to that. And so I'm starting to really like it. But anyways, when you were reaching out to me, I was like, I'm pretty sure he's in Seattle. I probably should just kind of go and see if we can sit down. But I didn't know what my availability was going to be like. Fortunately, we finished everything up like just before noon today. So wow. I think you're right though. I should have kind of figured out how to just sit down with you, get in the lab.
No, that's so good because it just leads us to another series that I'm going to do with referees. And the best part is, bro, you and I can sit right here on the couch and talk about it with our buddies, and it'll be comfortable setting. And then now that I know you're in the area, I know like there's this fundraiser that's coming up next. I think it's in September. Actually, okay. I know it is. And you're gonna want to play along. You're gonna want to come and see the local fundraisers and how they do it. And then there's some other stuff coming up this month. We'll see what your schedule's like. I run the party bus, and we have a lot of fun with it.
You had me a party bus.
Who doesn't need a party bus? I mean, come on. So yeah, the stuff I do on the side to try and help everybody out and have a good time in the process. And life is short. We got to live it up. So
I'm kind of seeing this like some of the Barstool podcasts. They have all the guys sitting watching the games and whatever they're betting on. And you could have something similar. We're watching some rugby games, seeing it from different angles. You have a armchair quarterback. You have a guy that's still playing. You have some guy that played 30 years ago who doesn't know that the rules changed.
Oh no, yeah. Dave will want to join us because and I've watched some Six Nations and such with referees, right? And obviously nobody fits the same mold, but stereotypically referees tend to be engineer mindsets. Hence what you're doing for Borden, most likely. And the reality is you guys think in great detail, which is a beautiful thing, and it fits the alignment of being a referee. But guys like me like to tease the shit out of guys like you because what I had happen while I'm watching a game is like they pause it and they rewind it and they watch the play and they're like, no, that's a call. No, this is a call. And this is how it, and they start arguing amongst themselves of what the call should be and how the ref got it wrong. So they're just like all the other fans you ever met. And then I'm like, after about 5 minutes, I'm like, hey guys, can you stop putting the into fun? Can we watch the rest of the game?
Well, the reason why they're watching it with you and not on the TV is because they missed it the first time, and that's why they had to rewind it. All right, let's be honest here. Like,
Touche, bro.
all right, if they
Oh,
got it the first time, they wouldn't be rewinding it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you get like everybody's got to be a little bit humble at some point, and that's an honest answer, though, Jacob. I appreciate that. Oh man, speaking of such, let's point out some of your referees. I got a little video here. I figure it's a good time to play it, like you running around with your friends and such. This is great. That last picture was the night that we all went out on shenanigans on the party bus.
Now, I was saying that collage of photos makes me I'm looking at my weight fluctuating through the years. I'm like, dang man, good thing I noticed it in time and I slimmed down a little bit.
So funny, man. Yeah, worried about all that. Even though you've like got your education and moved across country more than once and living the dream. Did you buy in Seattle or
I
are you
did. I
wow.
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pulling big boy moves, bro. Let's go.
It's for our work. Like it's just more beneficial to go buy a place financially than renting a place. It changes a lot with how much money they give you. So,
Oh, I didn't know
but
that.
yeah, but I wanted to buy anyway. I had when I was in Arizona, I had my own house, and the rent doesn't change when you own the house. So
Right.
um,
Right. Only the taxes go up and the insurance to flex that.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did mortgages for about I don't know, 11 years.
Well, shoot, I'm hoping these rates come down here because I'm getting my ass kicked with these
Yeah.
rates right now.
Yeah,
Like,
when they doubled is when I had to go find a different life, if you will, and bought
mhm.
into a plumbing and remodeling company and ran that shit show for about 6 months, and then yeah, it didn't work out. So long of the short, here we are, and trying to do this thing called a podcast.
Well, this is more fun anyway.
It's way more fun. Amen, bro. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. The customers, quote unquote, I don't know, like I don't know how you see it anymore. I don't know how to look at it half the time, but it's a lot more fun when you're hanging out with people talking about rugby than it is anything else. So I'll take it. I'll take the victory, you know?
Yeah, you get to choose who's on your show.
Yeah, yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. And who not to bring back. Ha! Just joking, just joking.
Oh
Oh man.
man.
So hey, what are some calls that are pretty common during a game that are the most common to get called? You know,
I mean, I guess depending on what kind of game you got. I mean, foul play can be something, your high tackles, but I think most of that kind of happens at lower levels of rugby where, you get later in the games and people just don't have the fitness to stay down and they tackle height raises. But I would say probably for the most part, it's your breakdown penalties. You're not rolling away, your hands in the ruck, you're diving off your feet. Those are probably the most common. and kind of more of the penalties you'll probably see called quickly and right away, versus something that you might play advantage off of, unless there's advantage to be played. But yeah, definitely a lot of the ruck penalties coming in the side. Again, holding on, just hands on the ground. Just those would probably be the most common, and that's something that we're actually trying to, kind of button down with all of the MLR referees. A lot of the teams they want quick ball, they want clean ball, so they want the rucks to be clean. They want to get the ball and go. So that's one thing it can be tough with our job, is making sure that we have the right call, because the ruck happens fast, and you got to make sure that you get the first infringement. And a lot of times, something happens on one side, and immediately after something happens on the other side, and you may catch the second one, not the first one. So it makes it kind of tough, when you're reviewing film and you see that you got something wrong, and that a player probably said something and they were right, and you kind of got to swallow that one.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything that you do or watch the center, ref do that is like would keep efficiency and
So not really. We have different responsibilities if you're an AR
elaborate
center. So for example, the referee is probably going to look at the breakdown a whole lot more. They're going to look at the angles people coming into the ruck. They're going to look at if they're on their hands, supporting themselves on their hands and diving over. They're going to look at if the tackler or the jackler, if they release properly and attack that ball, versus when you're on the side, you're going to be looking a whole lot more at, all right, we have the breakdown now. Is everybody on side? All right, are the passes flat or backwards? If there's a kick, is everybody on side, and who's chasing, putting everybody on side? When you're running some dummy lines, is there an obstruction? And so we have just different
responsibilities.
So sometimes we all catch the same thing. We're all looking for foul play. So if we're both looking at a ruck from two different sides, sometimes you'll see a shoulder come in, or if they're grabbing someone by the neck, that's probably something that we both will catch. But for the most part, we're just looking at two different things. So, and I think that's one thing that may not be very well known, because a lot of times you'll see, players come and turn to us for something on the sideline, and it's like, hey, like, I understand what you're saying, but I just wasn't looking at that, because you're running down the sideline, and I got to make sure that all the feet are in. I'm not looking at if there was an obstruction on the inside. That's someone else's job, and the center guy, for the most part, isn't looking if he's going to stay in the field of play. He's relying on me to look at that so that he can look at something else. So it's very, I guess, structured in our responsibilities, and we support each other the best we can. And even then, it even changes like what direction the ball's going. I mean, that one AR might be looking at something different than the other AR is going if the ball's on the other side of the field versus if it's on my side of the field. So we do our best to have our eyes on as many places as we can, versus everybody looking at the same thing, because you're going to miss a lot of things if everyone's looking at the same thing.
Right. No, it makes. How do you drown out the hecklers? That's what I want to know. Let's get some questions here.
That's
There's
actually one thing that's kind of
out
funny.
there.
Yeah, because you hear it so much more when you're an AR than when you're in the center. When you're in the center, you're miles away from the crowd, you're miles away from people on the sideline, and not to mention you have an earphone in, so you're only hearing one side anyway. When you're on the sideline, you still have something in your ear, but man, you're right there the entire game, and you hear everything that people are saying. So I mean, it's in some cases, and I actually say in most cases, I mean, you're so focused on the game that you really don't pay attention to what people are saying. But some hecklers are pretty funny. And they're going to say something, and you're going to hear it, and it's going to make you laugh, and it's hard not to sometimes. But I think that's one thing. Like I grew up playing baseball, and part of baseball, you sit in the outfield and you talk some trash to the
Oh yeah.
visitors out there. So while some heckling can get bad, for the most part, people are just trying to be funny and have a good time. So I think it's funny. Don't get out of hand with it. But if you take it too personally, then you're only gonna get upset. But I think it's funny sometimes.
Oh, totally. I there's been many a times where the squad comes off the pitch, and I'll catch them as they're walking to the locker room, if you will, and I'm like, look, and I'm clapping away, and they're looking around like, why is this guy clapping? And I'm like, you know what? You guys are still here. You got booed out of the whole stadium.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some fan groups are absolutely ruthless. Like
Oh
I,
yeah.
I'm just like, what the are you doing? Like, why are you booing out the ref? I mean, come on. Like, if you think you can do better, get your ass a card and get out there and do it.
Well, what's funny is yeah, I mean you'll hear it from every level of sports of rugby with fans that are saying whatever. But what the worst is the kids, the youth games. Those youth parents, man, they are ruthless. Like they are ruthless.
Yes.
And then what sucks with that is because then they're setting an example for their kids, and their kids see that, and then you hear it from on the field because when we're on the field, we're trying to manage everything on the field, but when you're having bad behavior off the field and that leads to on the field, then it kind of becomes a handful because you're like, dang man, like what are we supposed to do here? And there's not at those games, there's often not barriers or anything that keep people so far off the field so where you barely hear them. They're on top of the field and they're ruthless, man. So if you need to thicken your skin up, man, go do a 12U game.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's funny, man, because like I don't know about you. Do you have a story that sticks out in your head of one of those?
Yeah, I remember.
Play
Whose game was it?
because I got one too.
I was in San Diego and I was with Marquise, and I can't remember. I know Marquise and I were both the ARs for this game. I don't remember who was the center ref, but Marquise was doing like a D1 game out in San Diego before the MLR game, and he's my buddy, so I want to go watch and support. So I go there, and then there's this youth game, and either the ref didn't show up or they didn't schedule a ref or something happened, and they didn't have a ref. So I was like, oh yeah, like what, I'll go ref it. I don't want to run around. Get ready for the game, get warmed up, get the blood flowing, and man, I think I'm like 20 minutes into this game, and these kids are saying what a bad job I'm doing. I'm like, dude, I'm like, you guys are like 13 years old. Like, you don't know what a good ref is for starters. Like, you barely know the rules. I'm like,
they don't know the rules. We both know that. They don't have a clue.
Yeah. And then, I'm like, dang, man. And then you hear it because all the parents are there. And then you hear it from the parents. And I'm just like, man, I just showed up. I did not have to do this. Like, you could have not played today. like,
Real talk. Real talk.
Dude, and I remember because the youth games are shorter than the adult games, so I remember I walked off at the end of the game, and Marquise sees me. I'm just like, and he knows that something's like not 100%, and I was just like, he gets up and he's like, "You all right?" And I'm like, "Dude, those kids were terrible.
They're ruthless."
Yeah, dude. I'm like, what happened? Like.
Oh man, like what the WTF is happening?
Oh man, it was so funny.
We had one up here. I used to help with Rainier Rugby. Got about, I think they have 6 teams, and so there's a lot of kids. And I didn't make it to a JV game, and I come to find out that I should have been there. Ended up having to play freaking security for the rest of the season at every home game because of it. Okay, so here's the situation. So we got JV playing before varsity. The ref doesn't show up. So kindly, one of the assistant coaches, his name's Aaron, he decides he's going to ref the JV game. Fantastic. All right. The kids still get to play. That's at the end of the day. That's what we're hoping for. Right. And he goes on there. He's reffing away. It gets into the second half. And one of the coaches or one of the parents, like you're describing, is losing their mind on the sideline at the ref. Same team does not know that the ref is one of the coaches for the varsity. All hell breaks loose. The whole club gets fined. They get put in timeout, if you will. They now everybody has to wear we have to wear these vests and put up these signs and like patrol our families, and it was all like it's Rainier on Rainier crime. I mean, like the same club on club crime. You're like, Lord have mercy. Like this is you can't make this up, you know.
So I have a similar story. So
do tell.
The first D1 college game I did, and it was the same. I was talking earlier about when Marquise made me ref up in Santa Barbara, and it was I want to say it was the next week, and he calls me and he's like, "Hey man, your ref's not showing up," and I was like, "Okay," and he's like, "You're reffing the game," and I was like, "Yo," I'm like,
stop it.
I'm like, "What do you mean I'm like, I play for this team. Like, what do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, it's either you ref or nobody shows up." So we go, and I'm playing for San Diego State, and we were playing Santa Clara, and we get the coaches together, and I was like, "Hey man, I just got a call. The ref's not coming." They said that I should ref the game, and at that time, we were pretty good, and we were going to beat Santa Clara no matter who was refereeing. We were really good that year, and so it was a home game in San Diego, and it was alumni weekend. So the alumni is just giving it to me the whole game. It's so bad. It's my first real game of me reffing, and the alumni is just going and going and going, and I'm just like, I hear it, and then there's 5 minutes left, and I finally see our coach walk over to the alumni, and after the game, our coach comes up to me. He's like, "Hey man, I tried to talk to the alumni," and I was like, "I saw what minute you went over to the alumni. There was 5 minutes left in the game," and he's like, "Yeah, that's true."
He's like, I had a game to coach, bro. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And I'm just like, man. And then he tells him "Hey man, by the way, that's our guy out there. You should probably chill out."
Seriously, same team, bro. Same team.
Yeah, man, I will never forget that. After the game, a bunch of the alumni came up and they're like, "Yeah, man, we didn't know that you were actually on the team." And I'm like, "Well,"
you're like,
yeah, pretty much, pretty much. They're cool.
You know what I like about you? Nothing. You're a jerk.
They bought me drinks after. They were all cool, but it was just so damn funny. I'm like, man, they were just talking to talk. They weren't really watching the game. And we were at the time we were up 50 points, 60 points, and they're still saying it wasn't it was a 10 one score game, and they're like, "This call should have gone our way." No, any sort of call. It was a bad call.
Anything, they were just talking smack.
Yeah. Oh, it was fun. It was funny. And these guys, we had a lot of really funny alumni, and they're just trash talking. And I didn't know what to do. It was my first game.
Right.
And not only that, but they're supposed to be my own guys. So I'm like, damn, what do I do? And before the game, we were under strict instructions. Our team was do not speak as if Jacob, try and keep it to yourselves. And their coach was like, "We're not going to tell our team that you're on that team. We're going to keep it as straight up as possible." So, I couldn't go off and be like, "Hey guys, I'm on your team," because that would have been an awful look. That would have been the worst case. Like,
Wow, you're like, how much beer did you have in the parking lot, guys? Jeez,
yeah. Oh, but it was funny. We went. They got me a couple beers after. We laughed about it, and we hung out with the other team. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So,
that's
and
so
I
much
think,
fun.
and I'm pretty sure. I was trying to be so impartial that I was like against our own team. And I remember I gave out like 3 cards to our own team that day. I think it was 2 or 3, and it was the when we went to the after match, the other team was kind of laughing at like how much harder I was on our own team than I was on them, because I was just trying so hard to not look like favoring us that I went like way overcorrected.
That's kind of like a parent on their kid in a sense, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100. Well, I'd say 100%, but I'm not there yet, so I don't know.
No, no.
No kids
Yeah,
yet.
not a, which is crazy. 31, bro. Like you're knocking on that door most of the time, right?
I know. I turned 32 next month, actually.
Yeah.
So
Oh no, I did my homework.
yeah, yeah. You found that, huh?
Yeah.
No,
I'm good at
I
that
got a
kind of stuff.
girlfriend. I got a girlfriend. She's from Vancouver, Canada. So
Oh, now I see a little bit more why you're gonna buy and stay put. Okay, I see you.
it was I had to lobby hard for this job. And so, but my boss, he's cool. We get along really well. I had met him a couple times. I had done a little bit of work up here, so he liked some of the things that I was able to accomplish, and then gave me an opportunity. So, which was funny because actually I had talked to him about moving up here because I wanted to get a different job that would have allowed me to move up here. And he was like, "Man, don't move up north for a girl, man. Don't do that." And then he ends up giving me a job.
Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
it all worked out. It all worked out. She's great. She's great. It's so much easier being up here. It's a couple hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours
Right.
to Vancouver. I got my Nexus now, so I get just fly through the border. Um, it's
So
great.
good.
It's so much easier than flying to and from Arizona, and you're pretty reliant on the airline schedule, so you don't really get to maximize time. So this is like the best case scenario. So it's super awesome.
That's that's pretty sweet, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool. Like we talk about you playing, and of course, I'm going into another video because not everybody's seeing you playing. And I made a little bit of a video because you are so difficult to pin down on social media and get some pictures. But I found enough to be menacing. All right, so tell us about the Tennessee rugby.
So I went to Tennessee for 1 semester, and it was when you're looking at schools, you kind of want to just want to go to the schools, and then you get there, and then there's a pretty hefty price tag, and then you're like, oh, I don't. Maybe in-state wasn't a bad choice, so I got slapped with. I think it was $13,000 or $16,000 for a
Oh,
semester, and I was like, you know what, it was fun. I met some great people that I still talk to today. I'd never, I don't know, at the time, I'd never been to the South.
oh,
So it was an awesome experience. I got to be there in the fall during SEC football. It was pretty sick. Neyland Stadium, big stadium. They have the Fall Navy where everyone tailgates in the water, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So I went there, like I said, for a semester, super, super expensive. And then came home, reevaluated my educational options, and then went to work at Disney World instead of going back to school.
Okay.
And then I worked there I moved across the country. Because I'm from Southern California.
Right.
So I went to graduated high school, went to a JC for a couple of years, and then got into University of Tennessee, and went there for a semester. Came back home, did one more semester, moved to Florida for I don't know, 8 months. Tried to, like I said, figure out what I wanted to do, what I wanted to study, just figure it out. And then I had applied to San Diego State and Cal State Fullerton and other California schools that didn't cost that much money, and then got into San Diego State. It was funny because I was dating a girl at that time, and she had applied for San Diego State also. And she texted me one day and was like, "Hey, did you hear back from San Diego State?" And I was like, "No, I haven't. Let me check my spam." So my acceptance into San Diego State went to my spam folder. And if she never texted me, I would have never known. So I text her back, and I'm like, "Yeah, I got in. It's freaking awesome." And then she got waitlisted and then didn't get in. So
You're looking like a jerk.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
I felt so bad. I was like celebrating. I'm like, "Yeah, look, I got in." And then she's like, "I didn't get in. I got waitlisted." I'm like, "Damn, that's crazy." Like, so it didn't work out. It didn't work out. And I went to San Diego State and had a blast at San Diego State. I couldn't have imagined. What was that?
Nice and close.
Oh yeah, it was close enough but far enough. So,
right,
which was super important. I studied exactly what I wanted to study.
What did you study?
I studied international business with an emphasis in Spanish and Latin America. Okay. So, which was it was really interesting because the program it wasn't as structured, I guess, as like your typical business major, because you mix in a lot of the cultural classes and learning, well, one, having to learn another language, but two, having to learn about the countries that you might be working with in the future. So you look at your business classes and you kind of like it kind of makes sense when you do your accounting, your finance, your whatever your. But then when you're switching into these cultural classes, sometimes you don't really see how they fit into business, which was, that's how I felt. And then my last semester I studied abroad and I went to Peru, which was, it was so much fun. But
jungle.
So yeah, it is, man. And it's completely different than anywhere in the US, man. There's just nothing like it. And it was so funny because when I flew down there, it was August. It was August in Southern California, so it's hot, and I flew down and all I had was like a long sleeve shirt and some shorts on the plane. And I packed everything and I checked my bags because I was bringing a bunch of stuff. And I get off and it's wintertime down there. So, and I think I was in flip-flops also. And I get off the plane and I'm sitting there just freezing my ass off because it's the middle of winter in the Southern Hemisphere. And I didn't think about that. So I'm getting off and then I'm just standing there waiting for my bags. And I get there, I want to say it was like 2 a.m. when I landed down there. It was middle of the night. And I had to go take a language exam first thing in the morning. But I couldn't get into my house until like 5 p.m. that day. So I'm sleeping with like homeless people in the airport because I'm like, man, I really did not think about this. Like, and I'm sitting there and it's the middle of the night, man. It was not the best idea that I've ever had. But I don't think I've told many people that. So I'm in the airport and there's, oh man, it's a mess. And my Spanish was terrible at the time. And so I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't get into my house. School's not open. Like, none of this was gonna work out. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna put on my sweatshirt and put some pants on and try and take a nap, I guess, and maybe I'll wake up and the sun will be out. Like, so
Oh my
um,
gosh.
it all worked out. It was awesome. It was like I said, it was just so much different there. It's not like kind of going to Europe or going to Spain where people speak English, and it's pretty modern. Like it's a much different lifestyle up there. You have Lima, which is a city, but it's pretty disorganized in a lot of sense. You take a taxi somewhere and they got lines on the roads, but there's no reason for there to be lines because nobody follows them anyway. People
No.
just, like, um, but it's a beautiful country. I mean, you get the second you get out of the city, you got the Nazca lines down there. You got jungles, you got deserts, you got the beach. You have Machu Picchu. Like,
Okay.
there's so many beautiful parts of Peru. And if you get the chance, if you haven't been yet, I would highly recommend it. It's awesome.
The closest I've been is Costa Rica, and we went last year in September. And
Mhm.
if it's anything like Costa Rica, I want nothing to do with it.
Well,
It's
I
a
haven't been to
jungle,
Costa
and there's a
Rica.
lot of like snakes and lizards and
So
monkeys. And but what
I
was it
like
like
to
in Peru?
I like to think of Peru as very much like California, because in
Oh,
California, you have forests, you have mountains, you have deserts, you have the beach, you have all that in Peru. It's
okay.
amazing, and the food is delicious. Like, if you're willing to not eat at McDonald's and try some Peruvian food, like, it's a third of the price to eat Peruvian food, and it's so good. And you'll find good food in like every part of the country. It's amazing,
Wow.
and
Okay.
and people are so much different down there. They really like to have fun. They like to go to the bars. They like to go to the clubs. Um, things are open until the last person leaves in the city. Like, it's
That
pretty
could be
crazy.
dangerous.
You do have to have. It's another place where you got to have your head on a swivel. Um, if you can find yourself in trouble, if you're looking for the wrong things. But as long as you're doing the right things and you're staying out of, you're looking around, you're like, maybe I shouldn't go down that street. You pick the one with that's well lit. It's easy to not find yourself in bad situations, but it's so much fun. People are great. Like, um, everyone's so friendly, and I had such a positive experience. I would go back any chance that I had.
That's good to hear. Sincerely, good to
Mhm.
hear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it
then
makes me want to go. I'm not gonna lie.
dude, you should go for the food alone. Like,
Yeah.
I remember there was this place down the road from us, and we lived in like a weird place because on our same block, I think it was a JW Marriott was like on our block, which made no sense. Like, why are we? Why is my house next to a resort? Like, because the buildings were like, I don't know, 4 stories at most, because they can't build them too high because there's a lot of earthquakes.
Okay.
Can't build them too high, but then you have this massive high rise building. It's just like the only high rise building. It didn't make any sense, but it was cool. And then so down the street there was this. It was like it's like a little bookie restaurant. It was a restaurant with like horse races that you could bet on, that they'd show all day. And I remember you go there and it was like $5 and you get a salad, you get your meal, and you get a dessert for like $5 American. It was awesome.
You
Like,
can't beat
yeah, it was awesome. Like, I think it was cheaper to go eat there than going to buy groceries. Like,
that.
it was
Especially as
awesome.
a solo person in general. Like, I don't want to cook. I don't want to eat the same thing for 3 weeks, stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Well, I had my house. We had, I think, 11 people that I lived with,
Oh,
and I mean, everybody had their own room. It was awesome. Everyone was from all over the place. We had, see, there was a guy from Germany, a guy and a girl from Germany, a guy and a girl from France, girl from Mexico, girl from Finland, an American, an Italian girl. I want to say there's 2 more German people, and I think I'm missing a couple, but we had an awesome house. We all went to different universities, and so we'd throw parties and we would invite everybody from all of our schools. I think we went to 5 different universities, so we'd invite tons of people from all these other schools, and we'd all just have these huge parties. And I remember, so there's like some shady things, like our landlord tried to like scam us for money, and he was like, "Hey, like the city's fining you for your party," and we're like at first, we're like, "Crap, man! Like the city can fine us for this? Like that's crazy." And we start thinking about it, and we're like, "Hang on here, I think he's trying to pull something past us." And so we're like, "Hey, like, well, show us some paperwork that says we're getting fined by the city." And then they weren't able to produce any paperwork, so we ended up not getting fined. But like he tried to do that to us like 4 times. Like it was
wow.
crazy. And I will admit though, we probably deserved it. All right, we had a ladder and we go on top of the roof, but then the roof was connected to other roofs, so we're going on other people's roofs at like 2 in the morning. Like it was we were by no means were we innocent. I will admit, by no means were we innocent. But we had a great house. But it was really funny because I actually do like to cook. I do like to cook, and there was this Italian girl. She didn't. I don't know if she just thought that men couldn't cook, because it was me and the German guy and the French guy, and if we were ever cooking, she would just kick us out of the kitchen and start cooking whatever it was, and we're like, okay, like whatever. So for, I want to say, 2 months, I'd get some food and I'd go and I'd cook, and I wouldn't have to like cook for myself because she'd just kick me out, and then make my food. So then I remember one time though, she came home and I had already finished cooking, and I was like, "Hey, like you want to try this?" And she's like, "No," and I'm like,
Ooh.
"Why not, dude?" Like, and she's like, "No, like you guys can't cook," and I'm like, "Trust me, like try it." And I made some chicken, and I made it up real good, and it was some chicken and some peppers, and it wasn't a crazy dish, but she takes a bite and she's like, "This is good." I was like, it was probably the biggest mistake I made, because then I had to cook for myself, because then she knew that I could cook. I'm like,
That's
um,
awesome.
yeah, it wasn't awesome at the time. Then I had to go and make the time to cook for myself. Like I got accustomed to certain things while I was down there, and I'm like, "Dang, man, now I'm cooking my own meals." Like,
Oh man, that'll teach you. That'll teach you.
yeah, that was funny, man. Because we would, any of the guys, man, she would just kick out of the kitchen. She's like, "No, you guys, like, you get out of here. You guys don't." Like, it was crazy. I'd never like once when I was a kid. I mean, I liked to cook growing up. It was one of the first things that when I was, I don't know, I think I was 7 or 8 years old. My mom teach me to make pancakes, like, and then slowly onto other things, making pizzas and things like that. And so I wasn't used to like getting kicked out of the kitchen unless my mom was mad at me for something. So it was a new thing to me, and I'm like, "Man, it's pretty sweet that I get to go just get my food cooked." Like,
Right? I'm not even dating her. This is great.
yeah, 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 it was super awesome. Like, I was like, I just go and pick out what I want, and then she makes it. Like,
What do you tend to find yourself making when you're cooking?
um, mostly chicken. Well, actually, so my previous roommate, okay, I wasn't a believer in the air fryer. I wasn't a believer. I was like, you know what, man? Uh, for some reason, I don't know why, if I was stuck in the Stone Age, because I was like, I guarantee that air fryer isn't as energy efficient as my oven or my stove, which is stupid. Because I'm like this, I'm pretty sure it's way more efficient than
Right? It's like this big.
yeah, it keeps the heat in. Like, I'm like, I don't know why I was under that impression. And so anyway, my so 2 roommates ago, he was a big air fryer guy, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to try this?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, like, nah, I'm gonna cook it my way. You cook it your way." And then the roommate that I had after him, he was a big air fryer guy, and he's like, "Trust me, man." He's like, "If you do this, like, he's like, it's got this grill setting, so you can put a steak in there, and you put it in for 3.5 minutes, and then you flip it, and then 3.5 more minutes, and your steak's gonna be perfect medium rare. And I'm like, I don't know, man. So one day I let him make me a steak in the air fryer, and I'm like, damn, dude, it's the fat's crispy, it's medium rare, it's not burnt, it cooked fast. I'm like, I might explore a little bit. So
Right.
one day I think he went back home to visit his family, and I got some food, I got some steaks, and I'm like, let me check this out, let me see if it's legit where no one can see me. so
See if you
so
could do it as well.
yeah. So anyway, I I make steak, and I'm like, damn, this steak's pretty good, And then I make potatoes, or cut up some potatoes and make some French fries, or whatever it's gonna be. And then what I discovered was the chicken thighs, man. Chicken thighs in an air fryer, because they got a little bit of fat on them, and they crisp up really, really nice in an air fryer. So I think the big thing I'm on right now is chicken thighs. Well, let me rephrase that. If anybody at my work saw this, they call me a liar, because right now I'm only eating one meal a day, and it's not chicken thighs every day, because I'm really I graze, and I walk by and I eat stuff, and then all of a sudden I eat a bunch of stuff throughout the day. So I'm trying to limit the amount of food that I'm eating right now until I get to where I want to be. But prior to that, which has only been the last few weeks, but prior to that, I was on a big chicken thigh kick. So I'd go to the Costco, because you know what? I went shopping up here in QFC. Holy hell, man. $6.99 a pound for chicken thighs. That is crazy. That's absurd. So fortunately, my girlfriend has a Costco card, and she also opened my eyes to Costco, because I also thought that, I just didn't eat enough for Costco, but I didn't think about just getting like meat at Costco. Right. So it's $2.99 a pound for chicken thighs at Costco. I'm like, dude, man, this is a no-brainer. Like, I'm just going to bite the bullet on the $50 for the membership, and start buying my meat from Costco. So now I'm back on the chicken thigh kick after discovering the chicken thighs with the air fryer. So long story short, chicken thighs.
I see you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's half the price, and you're already on the kick anyway. So it's like peanut butter jelly, but yeah.
Dude, and the air fryer is just like, man, I'm a big advocate of the air fryer now. Like, I will go on the corner and sell them if they ask me to. If Ninja came and said, Jacob, we need you to advocate for the air fryer, go and sell 100 of these, I'd be like, no problem, man. I got you. I will go door to door and talk about these Ninja air fryers, man.
Right. They're delightful. You guys need one. Everybody needs one. The steaks, chicken thighs, they're good. They're great.
They get it done. They just get it done. Like,
too good, man. Like, this has been great. Thanks for visiting, man. Like, this is fun to get to know who you are as a person, let alone a referee of the MLR and college and all that other stuff, man. So good.
Yeah, no, I was super glad. Actually, when you messaged me, the first thing I did was text Marquise. So I was like, Matt just invited me to be on his show, and he was like, do it, get on there. You're gonna like it. Yeah. So
I'm glad you took the chance, bro. Like, what's gonna hurt, right? Just tell
next time I'll be on the couch with you.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Yeah. But I'm probably not gonna cook you a steak in an air fryer. Just saying.
That's okay. I'll bring my air fryer with me so that you can enjoy it. I can. Then you can buy one after. I'll be like Ninja. That's one sale.
It's so funny. I just got it's called a Z grill, and it's like a Traeger. Okay. I've only cooked on it once. I'm frugal, so I went on Facebook Marketplace and bought like a $500 barbecue for $150 at somebody's storage facility, and cooked that night, man. And it was incredible, absolutely incredible. And of course, we're talking steaks that are just like ridiculously big.
Is it a smoker?
Yeah. It's got the pellets in it, so like you can turn up and down the smoke on it. Pretty
Does it like have the automatic feeder in it? Dude, see, that's
yeah. And it's brand new, bro. It's probably been used 6 times, so it's like it's brand new. It looks clean as. So yeah.
Well, maybe I can. We can have some steaks on the Z grill, and I might have to make another purchase.
Yeah, you might, yeah. Like we're gonna have some barbecues here this in a couple weeks here, so I'll get you an invite. You can come down and test the waters, see what you think.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know, it's funny
yeah,
you say that because now that I'm up here, the water that is up in the Pacific Northwest is incredible. It tastes so good, and I was ignorant. My girlfriend always said she's like, "Your water's terrible. Like it makes my hair feel bad when I get out of the shower." And I was like, "What? Like what do you mean? Like it's water?" And
right.
man, I the water up here is something different.
Oh yeah, Washington State in general is really, I've traveled quite a bit around America, just chasing that egg-shaped ball, as we all know, and I just keep coming back. It's one of the most expensive states to live in. I mean, next to California. So, but like you were saying, you got desert, you got the Palouse, you got three mountain ranges, you got the Key Peninsula, which is over on the furthest west point where it's all national parks and native reservation. Um, you, you got, I mean, like you will not, if you like the outdoors at all, you just simply will not run out of things to do. The San Juan Islands, and a fun one to take the Queen on, bro, is go over to like Gig Harbor, drive around the bottom of the Puget Sound, and
Mm-hmm.
jump on a ferry to come over to downtown Seattle right as it's becoming dusk or in the evening, and you get the Seattle skyline as you come into the waterfront. It is awesome. Like there's nothing to not like.
That's cool. So I don't know if you've been to when you go to a Mariners game, but if you sit up on the first base side and you're up at the top and they got the roof open, at nighttime you can see the whole Seattle skyline. And you're sitting and watching baseball down, yeah, and then you see the whole skyline. I went and it was the Yankees were here a month or so ago, and we had tickets. Well, we didn't have tickets. We bought the cheapest tickets and then walked down. So we're sitting, I don't know, 8 rows behind third base, and then my buddy was like, "Hey, we got to go to our seats," and I was like, "No." I'm sitting 8 rows back at third base, and he's like, "No, dude, trust me. Like, we have to go to our seats. Like, it's getting dark. Like, you want to see this?" So then we walk all the way up. We got some value beers on the way, and then we sit up there, and I'm like, "You were 100% right. You're 100% right. It is beautiful seeing this. Like, the skyline's pretty nice,
It's
and this is
pretty
my
cool.
first time. It's my first time living in a city, so like I'm not used to seeing stuff like that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
this is pretty sweet."
Yeah. Yeah. See, now it makes me want to just steal you away for a day and take you for the Matt tour of Seattle. As I like, so the last couple years, I'll get fans in from other cities, and I like to take them on my tour of Seattle and run them amok, and stop in some dives here and there and get them all tuned up. But like, yeah, no, it's a great city. It's a lot of fun. It's known for having the Seattle, what is it called? The Seattle freeze, where people don't
Uh,
talk much. It's kind of like Southern California, have your people call my people, we'll do lunch, nobody calls each other. But I'm not that guy, as you know. So no, there's a lot to see, and there's like the underground of Seattle, like the tour of the underground Seattle. It's pretty affordable. It's on Via Tour, and it is a blast. It's just fun to hear the history of this town and how it came up, and I won't tell you too much more because I think it's worthy of visiting, and I got to get out there and do it again because it's been at least a decade since I've done it. So, which probably means 2 decades, but hey, who's counting?
yeah, the '90s was still 10 years ago.
Yeah. No, I saw you were born in what, 93?
'93.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was a junior in high school. I was graduating, and you're still, in your diapers, bud. So
So you're a big
I'm
Nirvana
old.
guy. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's silly, but like it's funny how you get older and you just don't worry about any of that shit anymore. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. No, that's cool, man. I look forward to to showing you some of the areas that are really cool. I mean, Beacon Hill is pretty great area in general. And then you can drop over one side and you're by the stadiums. You drop over the other side, and you're by the water. It's pretty cool area.
Yeah, no, I've so from where I live, I can see the Olympic mountain range. I can see down into the Seattle port. I can see the stadiums all like lit up from my house, and then I have like a small tiny view of downtown. There's one tree. If they got rid of that one tree, I'd have a pretty nice view of downtown. But there's one tree that's just screwing it all up. But it's pretty cool, and it's funny because I didn't really like intend on living here to be up on the hill and like have nice views. I really was avoiding traffic, and I was like, well, I really don't want to get on the 5 freeway because that's where the traffic starts, whether I'm going north or south.
Seriously.
Because I was bouncing around Airbnbs, and I was in West Seattle, and I was like, man, like this on ramp is awful. So I was like, when I started looking for places to live, I was like, I need to, like, the traffic starts here. So I'm going to get off right before this traffic starts, and I'm going to look for houses over here. And that was kind of how I ended up just looking at Beacon Hill. And I didn't know until I started going into houses. Like I said, I didn't know what you could see. I could only see like, okay, well, there's houses here. I didn't, like I said, I wasn't planning on saying like, oh, well, I gotta live here because you can do this. Da, da, da. I didn't think that, there's a transit stop here, so it's like 2 stops and I'm at the stadiums, 3 stops I'm downtown. I wasn't thinking about any of that, and it ended up being such a blessing that I got into this place, and then it's awesome
Lots of culture around there too. Like you slide down into Columbia City there on the east side of you, and there's a ton of other options. Lots of different varieties of cultural food too. Like super cool.
There's 3 Mexican spots in walking distance, and they speak almost no English. So I'm like, you know what? This is pretty legit. Like, and it's good. It's some good Mexican.
Polish up, bro. Polish up. Yeah. That's so good.
Well, yeah. Dude, that's been awesome. Like, I've enjoyed every second of where I've lived so far. They got pickleball courts right next to me. Just get up. It's like when you got a pickleball court next to you, it's like when you got a Starbucks next to you. You're in a good neighborhood.
That's a reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's funny that you say it, but it's true. It's like, oh man, I could make so many jokes right now that are so not PC, and I can't do it on this platform.
Well, I know you're out there playing pickleball. I know.
Oh yeah. Me and Buffy, bro, we're out there when we're not playing tennis.
Yeah. Dude, I gotta admit, I went on Amazon. I got some paddles. I got a net. I got a court so you can make your own court. Man, I bought in.
You're on it.
The only thing I don't have is the pickleball shoes.
Just a matter of time, Jacob. Just a matter of time. But yeah, you can have some J's all custom out for you or something. Yeah.
Have some paddles on them.
Yeah. Little logos on there. Oh yeah, don't forget your Ninja logo. Because you got to get your air fryer plug. That's so good, bro. Oh man, I hope to have you on again sooner than later, my man. I appreciate all this. This is great.
No, this was great. I'll be back anytime, and then I'll see you around Seattle.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. Stick around. We'll close this up. Stick around. Let's we gotta let our computers upload, so like the fuzzy wuzzy quality that tends to happen with these Zoom style calls. We'll see what happens. But I appreciate you being on, making the time. I'm glad that we got through it. I'm glad we didn't do it yesterday because it sounds like you've been plugging away. So that's great, man. That's really great. Well,
no, time worked out great.
Yeah, and I'll get this up and going sooner than later. We got to do a little editing, as you and I both know, because the old computer doesn't do what it's supposed to sometimes. But hey, we restarted that bad boy and got it going. That's the reality of these shows, right? Like, it's never going to go completely smooth.
Oh yeah, that was funny. We made it through though.
Yeah. Makes it more realistic, right? Mm-hmm. Too funny. All right, Jacob. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the time, and I can't wait to have you come on. Anybody listening, please share, subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing to share it with a friend, especially if you like these characters like Jacob. Like, give the guy some love, all right? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jacob. See you soon, my man.
Love rugby? So does Matt. He is host of the Rugby 100 Club podcast, where Major League Rugby stars tell their stories. But it's more than a podcast, it's a passport. Rugby 100 Club builds epic fan trips to follow your team on the road. Game day tickets included. Tailgates and fan meetups? You bet. Unforgettable memories every single time. Rugby 100 Club, where fandom meets the road.